I'm really excited to share with you some of the findings that really surprised me about what makes companies succeed the most. What actually matters for startup success? I believe that startup organization is one of the greatest forms to make the world a better place. Because if you take a group of people with the right equity incentives and organize them in a startup, you can unlock human potential in a way that was never before possible. You get to achieve unbelievable things. But if the startup organization is that great, why do so many fail? That's what I wanted to find out. I wanted to find out what actually matters the most for startup success, and I wanted to be systematic about it uh, because I wanted to avoid some of my instincts and misconceptions that I've acquired over the past years, and I wanted to know uh, this because I've been starting businesses ever since I was 12 years old when I sold candy at the bus stop in junior high school to high school when I made solar energy devices to college when I was selling loudspeakers, and then when I graduated from college I started software companies, and 20 years ago I started a company called Idea Lab, and ever since then we have started 100 companies, many successes and obviously many big failures. We learned a lot from them. So I tried to look across what factors accounted the most for company success and failure. And I took these five. First, the idea. I used to think that the idea was everything, and that's why I named my company Idea Lab, because I worship the aha moment when you first come up with a huge idea of your own. But then over time, I came to think that maybe the team, the execution, matters more than the idea. I never thought I would quote Mike Tyson, but he said that you will always have a plan. Sorry, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, and I think that's so true when it comes to businesses as well. So much about a team's execution is its ability to adapt and to get punched in the face by the customer. So then I started looking at the business model. Does the company have a clear path in generating customer revenue? That started rising to the top for me. And what about the funding? Sometimes companies get intense funding. Maybe it's that. And then, of course, the timing. Is the idea way too early, and what if the world's not ready for it? Is the idea too much in advance that I have to educate the world about it, or am I too late that there are many competitors already? So I try to look at very carefully at these five factors across many companies, and I looked across 100 Idea Lab companies and 100 non-Idea Lab companies, and I tried to come up with something scientific. So first, on these Idea Lab companies, I took the top five like City Search, Cars Direct, GoTo, Net Zero, Tickets.com. All those became billion-dollar companies, and five companies that were failures. Uh, Z.com, Insider Pages, My Life, the Stock Factories, People Link, for which we all had high hopes for, but didn't succeed. So I tried to rank all of those attributes about how I felt about this company scored on each of these dimensions. And then for non-Idea Lab companies, I took the wild successes like Uber, YouTube, LinkedIn, Airbnb, and Instagram, and then some failures too. The bottom companies had intense funding. They even had business models, but they didn't succeed. I tried to look at what factors accounted most for a company's success and failure, and the results surprised me. The number one thing was timing. Timing accounted for 42% of the difference between a success and a failure. team and execution came in second, and the idea, its differentiability, its uniqueness came in third. Now, this isn't absolutely definitive. It's not to say that the idea isn't that important, but it very much surprised me that the idea wasn't the most important thing. Sometimes it mattered when it was actually timed. The last two, business model and funding, kind of made sense, because many companies do not have business model until they start their operations. And when it comes to funding, if you are underfunded at first and then you're gaining traction in today's age, it's very easy to get interns.